With all humility, it is my pleasure, dear fathers and mothers in the Lord and the audience, to present to you Olusegun Ogidan. He is my brother, born by another mother. We have been friends since 1978. And is the one that brought me into the Cherubim and Seraphim Church in 1981. The first prayer gown I wore was from him, the lecturer for the 10th memorial lecture of Prophet Gabriel Olubunmi Fakeye. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Ali.
We are going to thank our guest lecturer. We are going to thank him. Now we know that he is one of the people gaining souls for Christ in our church. So can we give him another round of applause?
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. The chairman of today's occasion, His Eminence, the head of Cherubim and Seraphim worldwide. His Eminence also the Babaladura, Prophet Abiodun Alobo, whom we are expecting. The general leader, Senior Special Apostle Baba Ogundeye, sir. The Secretary General of Cherubim and Seraphim worldwide, our district chairmen all over and our leaders from different churches, my distinguished brother, Prophet Yikoka MNI, this church general secretary, my brothers in Isaiah Band, my captain. It is a great honor and privilege for me to be here today, and permit me to stand on existing protocol while I have already recognized our fathers. The title of this lecture is to look at the centenary of Cherubim and Seraphim Church, establishing a legacy of continuity from St. Moses Orimolade Tunolache to Prophet Gabriel Olubunmi Fakeye and beyond. Baba Mose has come and gone. He has laid a solid foundation. Baba Fakeye has built on this foundation, and in this gathering we have many people who are still building on this foundation, and we have a legacy which is what we are giving to the next generation that is coming behind us. While thanking our fathers and the distinguished invitees for the honor given me to deliver this lecture, I want to say that we are gathered here today to celebrate two events: 100 years of Cherubim and Seraphim Church, 10 years of Baba Fakeye, and we are going to approach this conversation. We are going to approach this conversation from 6 pillars. Number one, we are looking at a legacy of faith. 100 years of the church, 10 years of Baba Fakeye, and we are honoring our founders and our leaders. And we are going to explore the rich history, focusing on the pivotal roles of Baba Mose and Gabriel Olubunmi Fakeye in shaping the identity and growth of Christianity, especially the white garment churches. We are going to be looking thirdly at the divine calling, beginning with the remarkable story of St. Moses Orimolade Tunolache, the founder of Cherubim and Seraphim Church worldwide. His early life marked by faith and deep connection with God and deep foundation for his divine calling. And we are going to be looking at the early challenges and triumphs, discuss the initial challenges faced by the nascent church and the earlier growth fueled by St. Moses Orimolade, and finally, we shall be looking at a legacy of hope. Where are we going? What are we building on? Enduring vision of Cherubim and Seraphim Church within the sacred hall of the church, and the leaders that are here and other people who are still working on this foundation that have been laid by Baba Mose. This is a symbolic year for the church, and equally a symbolic year for Cherubim and Seraphim Church Surulere district. A centenary of the church and a decade of our father. And we say, dídùn ni ìrántí olódodo. We keep on remembering them. And as we say in CAC Church, wọ́n ní bí ó ti kú ni ó ń fọhùn. We keep on remembering the good work and we keep on thanking God. And one of the things I want us to take away from this conversation today, to every generation, to every good group of people, God has a way of manifesting himself. The God that manifested himself is that brought the Israelites out of Egypt. He manifested himself in King David. He manifested himself in Prophet Isaiah. He manifested himself in the earlier prophet, and he manifested himself in Jesus. It is the same God that manifested himself in St. Moses Orimolade Tonlashe. He manifested himself again in Fakeye, and is manifesting himself in some of our leaders that are sitting down here. And this is what we need to take away. We look at the life of our fathers. We are establishing a legacy of continuity of St. Moses Orimolade Tonlashe, and take it of lead Baba Mose and Baba Fakeye are leaders and pillars, some giving us hope for our better tomorrow, and that even in the life to come, we have our fathers up there pleading our cases. In the annals of Nigerian Christian history, two figures stand out as monumental pillars, and these are the pillars we are discussing today. St. Moses Orimolade Tonlashe emerged in the late 19th century, during a time when Nigeria was under colonial rule, and traditional African religious practices were meeting Christianity in a complex of ways. Shrouded in supernatural occurrences, his birth marked a very extraordinary humble beginning, despite the physical limitation and that affected his mobility. Orimolade possessed a spiritual authority that transcended his physical constraints. Emergence as a spiritual leader came during the period when indigenous churches movement were beginning to take root in Nigerian soil. On the other hand, Prophet Gabriel Olubunmi Fakeye's journey began in 1936 in a Nigeria that was moving towards independence. Born into a Christian family, his path to leadership combined formal education with spiritual training. Spontaneously, divine manifestation and spiritual encounters characterized Orimolade's ministry. Baba Fakeye's approach reflected a more structured, systematic development in the church's spiritual and institutional aspect. As the Caribbean and Seraphim Church approaches its centenary, it is spiritual continuity between its founders, St. Moses, and one of his most influential leaders, Baba Fakeye, who was fondly referred to as by the present Sultan of Sokoto as the prophet. This continuity presents an organizational succession, a profound spiritual inheritance that has shaped one of Africa's most significant Christian movements. They also present the view of the current perspective on Christian churches. St. Moses emerged in the early 20th century as a spiritual visionary whose ministry broke new grounds in Nigerian Christianity. Born in Ikare, Ondo State, Orimolade's life was marked by extraordinary spiritual occurrences from early stages. Many of these you have read in different literature. Being at home and being on the farm at the same time. Being in the farm and singing in the church at the same time. And without formal education, designing and structuring the church movement that could last for 100 years. Any movement that can last for 100 years will last forever. Most movements don't survive. Orimolade's theology emphasized direct communion with God, the reality of spiritual warfare, the mediating role of angelic beings. His approach to Christianity acknowledged the spiritual realities of many that many Africans recognize, but the colonial Christianity often deny and demonize. The fact that God speaks to us directly in Caribbean and Seraphim Church, this is the first foundation that was laid in the church. Christianity, yet distinctly African, addressed spiritual needs that mainstream the denomination. The mantle of spiritual leadership eventually passed on following the establishment of Caribbean and Seraphim Church movement, Surulere in 1971. Prophet Gabriel Olubunmi Fakeye preserved and extended Orimolade's vision. He built on the solid foundation that has been laid. Fakeye maintained a prophetic tradition that was central to the church identity while adapting its structures and practices that in the changing times. With the world that is changing. That is why today, when many people ask us, our friends, when they ask us, which church do you worship? And we said Caribbean and Seraphim, the first thing they will talk about is our choristers. They will mention is that church where they sing. We say, yes, that is the sing. Organizationally, they build structures. Organizationally, they build structures that allow the church to grow while maintaining its spiritual essence. The spiritual lineage represent more than historical succession. It embodies the successful transmission of a distinctive religious vision. While many African independent churches have fragmented and diminished over time, the Cherubim and Seraphim Church has maintained remarkable continuity of purpose, continuity of practices, continuity among generations. The success stems from the complementary strength of the fundamental leaders, Orimolade's prophetic vision and Fakeye's organizational insight. As the church commemorates its centenary, it serves as a testament to the enduring power of the indigenous African churches. The spiritual inheritance passed from Moses Orimolade to Fakeye and beyond demonstrate how Christian faith can be authentically expressed through African cultural forms without compromising from the beginning, how Moses Orimolade was confronting the Egungun people and converting them without fighting them. And as Baba Fakeye was able to preach to the other religions for them to be able to accept and see the goodness in what we worship, we have two pillars of faith that were able to drive what we do. It should be noted that the CMS was not the first set of Christian missionaries to set foot on Nigeria. The Catholics, accompanied by many Portuguese missionaries, had come earlier, but had difficulties in their crusade because of complications from slave trade and the attendant economic implications following the strange god, which was said according to the traditionalists. And this seeks to make all of us freeborn in Christian. And that is why Baba Fakeye was always telling us that every man is tempted to worship the God of his friend. And for your friend to worship your God, you must be able to show what is good in that religion. From Kudeti in CMS, the CMS, and according to Adam Olekun Taiwo, a senior lecturer in church history and Christian studies of Adekunle Ajasin University, Christianity entered Akoko land through Oba Akoko in 1896, and this was Anglican Orthodox brand of Christian mission. The 50th Jubilee anniversary of the establishment of Christianity in Akoko land was observed in 1948, thus confirming the actual time of the genesis of Anglican mission in Akoko land. The soldiers that returned from the intertribal wars lecture, we said take it or leave it. Baba Mose Orimolade and the Cherubim and Seraphim Church and Baba Fakeye were bright designs of God to complete the product of his divine sovereign will, to be able to convert the idol worshippers and the masquerade people to be able to worship God in the line of the new religion. Islam entered Akoko land before Christianity. Islam came through the trade in the north with the northern people. And this is why they call it Esin Mali, meaning that from the Malians, corrupted to be Esin Mali. Islam entered Akoko land through Okene, and these were the forces that were at first when Baba Mose came in. Let's quickly look at the mystery of Orimolade and the birth of this Cherubim and Seraphim Church. One of the lectures delivered by Prophet Aluko on the God of our Father, the mystery of covenant. Okay. Thank you. They are sorting out the microphone. Thank you. Okay, it's okay now. Thank you. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and cometh down from the Father of light, with whom there is no variable, neither shadow nor turning. James 1:17. The mystery of Moses Orimolade baby that talk in the womb, it goes beyond the baby that stood up and walked in the moment he came out of the womb, even before the umbilical cord was severed. It goes beyond the baby that was not affected by incantation from Abalis, and whose legs were to be tied and twisted so that it does not bring disgrace to the parents because they've never seen that before. Orimolade's mystery was also of a spiritual illumination that transcends situational understanding. A sudden disappearance from the house in frontage where he sat, where others went to the farm or market to trade. A return later in the day with a bell and a Bible and a staff. To cap it all, the sole night vigil in the Anglican church where nobody could see anybody except Orimolade that was singing. And this is where some of the songs that we sang today came from. Look, the Jordan ìlà ń pè mí, àwọn olùfẹ́ mi tí wọ́n ti jí tí wọ́n ti lọ, mo fẹ́ lọ bá wọn wọlé ògo, a kì yóò yà mọ́ títí láéláé. All these things have the foundation from all the beginning. As I mentioned earlier, at an event that transcends situational understanding, we need to know where we are coming from. Many people were saying that time, ìgbàgbọ́ ní kọ́ máa ṣòro ilé wọn. But today, we can see that the Cherubim and Seraphim Church has been established as a pillar and has been able to turn many people to Christ. Viewing things from spiritual lens, the coming of Baba Moses Orimolade to Lagos could be seen in the light of what happened when event of 2 King, chapter 2, verses 19 to 21, when Prophet Elisha said, and he said, bring me a new horse and put salt in it. And then they brought it to him, and he went forth to the spring of water and cast the salt there and said, fill this water, there shall be no more death and burning people from in the land. This was a response to the 1918 influenza pandemic, the first COVID that came in the world. So Baba Moses Orimolade coming to Lagos typifies the new cruise, the salt that was able to change the way things were done. And Baba Moses Orimolade arrived in Lagos in July 12, 1924 and lodged at the Holy Trinity Anglican Church with the section of the church Emmanuel Olumodeji from his Ikare Akoko hometown. He started preaching and praying for people all over Lagos. And when you look at it, the foundation of faith, those who antagonized Baba Moses Orimolade to Olashe that time, they antagonized him not because they did not believe in his message. They antagonized him because he did not allow them to commercialize the message, to sell it. And this is why up to today, in Ayoni we say, Ofe la fifuni, Ofe ni weli. Again, we all know, in the time of Baba Moses Orimolade, the secret courts were the people holding authority. And confronting them, he has to use something superior. And the only thing that is superior to the secret court as at that time is the Spirit of God that is able to confront them. So the events that followed the establishment of Aladura Band and all the people, whatever they were saying that time, created an opportunity for those who were doubting him before to now start asking questions. Where are they coming from? What are they doing? How do we now encourage our children not to join them? And then the children were joining the church and the church was expanding. So as Baba Aladura grew in popularity among the people, some of the elites saw in him a charlatan, a deceiver and a challenger of the tradition Olashe. It is not a Yoruba church, but a church for all nations. It is not a church of polygamies as some people erroneously shun. It is not a church of polygamies as some people erroneously believe. It is a church that recognizes the Bible as the final arbiter and God as the wise and knowing. Some great men of God in Nigeria today were born into Cherubim and Seraphim Church. Prophetic ministries were endowed to Moses Orimolade from his birth, and he remained in Nazareth for on earth. In 1988, myself and Prophet Aluko were late Professor